Right now, I am watching WWF No Mercy 1999. We're going to take a close look at this event in its entirety. The main event of the show is Triple H versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWF Championship. And this match was being built up for quite a while. And so this was the night we were finally going to see these guys go one-on-one for the title. Now, at SummerSlam 1999, Triple H took Austin out by taking a steel chair and battering Steve Austin's knees, his surgically repaired knees, and Austin has been out of action for a while. But now he gets his title shot against the WWF champion, who is now Triple H. There are other matches on this show, such as The Rock versus the British Bulldog, which kind of was like a comedic feud that they had. Oh, Pyro's going off. The show's about to start. They just showed an opening video package highlighting the Triple H versus Stone Cold Steve Austin feud. So yeah, there's also Mankind versus Val Venis. That was also a comedic feud, which is kind of interesting because The Rock and Mankind, earlier in 1999, they were the headliners. Now they're in the mid-card doing comedy feuds. They were also tag team champions at one point. They also have Chyna versus Jeff Jarrett for the Intercontinental Championship in a Good Housekeeping match. So we'll see what that's about. The Godfather's coming out to face Mideon. Now, obviously, in today's WWE, you generally wouldn't see a match like this on a big event. You know, Godfather versus Mideon. I mean, that's like a throwaway match, right? You know, on today's premium live events that the WWE does, they build up matches for weeks and weeks or months and months, and then you might get like 5 matches on a premium live event, maybe 1 or 2 more. But on pay-per-views at this time, you would get stuff like this. Anyway, so the Godfather's coming out with his ladies who are scantily clad. It's kind of funny that I'm watching this right now because tomorrow is WWE Crown Jewel and all the women have to wear bodysuits because they're not allowed to show bare skin other than their face. So that's an interesting contrast because you'd never see this going on at Crown Jewel, which takes place in Saudi Arabia. Godfather's doing his trademark intro in the ring, surrounded by his ladies, telling everybody to jump aboard the Ho train. And he's telling everyone to light a blunt. Again, very different than what you'll see today. Although, when Matt Riddle was around, they constantly hinted at his marijuana use. All right, here comes Mideon, accompanied by Viscera. I don't think I've ever seen Mideon have a good match. Or like any type of an entertaining match. I mean, he's kind of an interesting character, I guess, just because he's so strange. But yeah, I'm not expecting Godfather versus Mideon to be like a barn burner of a match. But hey, maybe they might surprise us. Mideon is on his hands and knees. So Godfather got down on his hands and knees. Godfather's on the mic. Godfather is just threatening Mideon that he's just going to beat him up because, well, Mideon and Viscera are not interested in Godfather's women. So they got to fight now. Power slam by Godfather on Mideon. Doesn't go for the cover. By the way, the main event will be no holds barred, and that stipulation was added on Sunday Night Heat right before the show. Vince McMahon made that stipulation, and Triple H was furious about it. No holds barred. Godfather Irish whips Mideon into the corner. Oh, well, hang on. Viscera is outside the ring trying to distract Godfather by messing with his women. And it worked. Mideon knocked Godfather outside the ring. Godfather was setting up for his Ho Train finishing move. Oh, Mideon just dropped Godfather on the barricade on the outside. And now Viscera is cheating and just... Man, he just threw Godfather back first into the ring apron. Yeah. Mideon has a chin lock on Godfather. Again, chin locks, very popular during 1999 on pay-per-view. Mideon loves putting chin locks on his opponents. Godfather's fighting back, though. Crowd's cheering him on. All right, he gets out of the chin lock. Sunset flip attempt, but Viscera is distracting the referee. Now 1, 2. Now Mideon kicked out. Too long. I like the idea that the only way Mideon can be competitive in this match is with Viscera's help, because Godfather is a tier above Mideon in terms of entertainment value. Mideon is like the absolute bottom of the card in the WWF at this time. Oh, wow. See, Viscera just punched Godfather in the face behind the referee's back. Now he dropped an elbow on Godfather and is hitting him again. And now the crowd is chanting, "We want puppies," which is directed towards Godfather's women. Oh, man. And Godfather whips Mideon into the corner and tries to bum rush him, but Mideon gets a boot to the face of Godfather, clothesline, goes for the cover, and not enough. I don't even know what Mideon's finishing move is. I think that's because I don't recall seeing him win a match on pay-per-view. And rightfully so. He shouldn't be winning matches on pay-per-view. Now, Viscera attacking Godfather again behind the referee's back. I will say that keeps this match interesting. Again, if it was Godfather versus Mideon straight up, nobody at ringside, yo, this would be a boring match. Because Viscera is keeping Mideon in this thing. I like that. I like when they add bells and whistles to matches that would otherwise be, just nothing. Mideon just slammed Godfather down. He's standing on the second rope to drop an elbow and misses it because Godfather moved out of the way. Godfather's fighting back. He's tired of all this Viscera Mideon stuff. Clothesline to Mideon. This is a very basic match. Very average. Godfather just slammed down Mideon, hits the ropes, and drops a leg drop. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. And Mideon gets the shoulder up. Godfather slams Mideon down again. Oh, wow. He's climbing to the second rope. Oh, big splash, but Mideon got the knees up. Now Godfather rolled outside the ring. Viscera just took himself out by trying to attack Godfather, but instead he ran right into the ring post. Now Godfather and Mideon are in the ring. Godfather whipped Mideon to the corner, going for the hoe train here. Crowd's on their feet, and he hits it. And now a roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Godfather wins the match. That was about as good of a match as Godfather and Mideon are going to have. So, I mean, it was very average, but they kept it interesting with Viscera's interference. So, I give it a thumbs up. It's fun to watch. Now, referee Tim White is dancing with Godfather's women in the ring. And they're smothering him. And Godfather's loving every second of it. I believe there's also a Four Corners match on this show. X-Pac, Kane, Bradshaw, Faaroq. Every man for himself. Obviously, Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, tag team ladder match on this show. One of the most famous ladder matches of all time. Anytime people talk about best ladder matches ever, Edge Christian versus the Hardys at this event is mentioned in the conversation. They're showing a clip of the lead up to the Austin Triple H match. There was a episode where Austin leaves Triple H in the locker room. There was an episode where oh yeah, they're just showing Austin left Triple H in the locker room with a snake, and Triple H said the snake bit him, and it had a negative effect on his health, and he showed like his face had all this like black and blue all over it. But it turns out that stuff on his face was just makeup, and he went to Austin to say, "Hey, here you can have the title. If it means this much to you, just take it." And Austin's like, "I don't want it this way." And then Triple H attacked Austin and ripped off the makeup and let Austin know that this title means more to him than it ever will to Steve Austin. Again, this is Triple H in the midst of his best run ever. He was the best heel I've ever seen. I mean, everybody hated Triple H at this time. Everybody hated him. I mean, it's like, it's not one of those things where you like to hate him. No, everybody hated him. When he came to the ring, everybody booed him. Like, they didn't want, like, nobody liked this guy. He was so good at being a hateable heel. Triple H is being interviewed by Michael Cole. Triple H was saying that he angered Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's still guaranteeing that he's going to walk out with this WWF Championship. It's funny because Michael Cole was like, "Hey, you angered a lot of people," and he's like, "Yeah." Triple H is like, "Yeah, I angered a lot of people. You don't get it, do you?" It's like, I guess he's happy about that. Here is Ivory being interviewed by Michael Cole. Ivory is the women's champion, and she will be facing Fabulous Moolah, who is much, much older than her. Fabulous Moolah is getting a shot at the women's championship. Here comes Fabulous Moolah. Fabulous Moolah is accompanied by Mae Young, who is another very old woman, but I will always give credit to these two for being active in pro wrestling until the very end of their lives. They're both gone now, but still. And I know there's a lot of allegations and controversy surrounding Fabulous Moolah. But I will give them credit for the fact that they must love pro wrestling, because they were in it into their 70s, 80s. You know. Here comes Ivory. Oh, wow. Match started. Drop kick to Fabulous Moolah, right to the lower back. The fact that Moolah is taking bumps, like what she's doing right now, is crazy. It's insane. I just can't believe people their age can take bumps like that and not get hurt. Meanwhile, Ivory is in phenomenal physical condition. Snapmare by Moolah on Ivory. Another snapmare. Goes for the cover. Ivory kicks out. Moolah tries to Irish whip Ivory. Doesn't work. Ivory Irish whips Moolah into the corner. Moolah's offense looks terrible. Now Moolah is on the bottom rope. Goes for an elbow drop on Ivory. That didn't work. Ivory moved out of the way. Now Ivory is trying to pin Moolah. She tried to cheat by putting her legs on the ropes. And then Mae Young stopped her from doing it. And then Mae Young got knocked off the ring apron to the mat. Outside. I cannot believe it. Oh my goodness. Seeing the bumps that these women are taking is like, I cannot. Whoa. This is a very sloppy match, as expected. I mean, this is like, it's entertaining to see just because I cannot believe Mae Young and Moolah are taking these kind of bumps. But at the same time, it's like so hard to believe because Ivory is so much younger and in such amazing physical condition. She should be destroying Moolah right now. It's hard for me to suspend my disbelief watching this. They're all on the outside now. Mae Young, Moolah, Ivory, everybody. Oh my goodness. Ivory just hit Mae Young in the head with the women's title belt. Now Moolah going for a roll-up. 2, 3. Moolah wins the women's championship. I mean, they kind of protected Ivory because Mae Young was interfering for like the whole match. So that was the only way they could kind of protect Ivory there. Because she lost because of a distraction, really. But I have no idea why they had Moolah win this championship. But at least Mae Young and Moolah are still walking after those bumps they took. I think they both took more bumps than Ivory did. Yeah, no, that was a thumbs down for that match. That was terrible. Boy, I hope Ivory got paid well at this time. I highly doubt that she did, but you know, Ivory is now a Hall of Famer though, so credit to her. So far we've had two matches. They were both really just comedic throwaway matches. They're really not much to say. I mean, they had the crowd laughing, both of them. Yeah, I mean, they were going more for entertainment here than having an outstanding match in either case. But obviously, Mideon and Godfather had a much better match than Ivory and Fabulous Moolah. And there's more comedic matches to come. Mankind, Val Venis, and their feud is over something so ridiculous. Like, Mankind has Mr. Socko, right? That's what he does for his finishing move. He pulls a sock out of his pants and puts it on his hand and does a mandible claw to his opponent. But he also had something called Mr. Rocco, which was a gift for The Rock, right? But Mr. Rocco was stolen by Val Venis for some reason. And that's what this feud is about. Val Venis stealing Mr. Rocco. And now they're showing Vince McMahon and Triple H backstage earlier in the night on Sunday Night Heat. See, Triple H's strategy was that he was going to anger Steve Austin so much that Austin comes out and gets himself disqualified and Triple H retains the championship. But Vince McMahon threw cold water all over that by making the match a no-holds-barred match on Sunday Night Heat right before the show. Which, again, WWF was always really good at not only promotion, but keeping you interested in the show as the night goes on. Like, nobody knew that at the last second, this is going to be a no-holds-barred match. Nobody knew that. And then Triple H is going to be furious about it. That makes people want to buy the pay-per-view. Smart move. Here comes Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. I don't remember who their opponents are. It might be the Hollies, Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly, but we'll see. Although I like the pace so far. We're already on our third match here, and we're not even 30 minutes into the show. I like that. Now, on a normal WWE Premium Live event, we would have only had one match so far. We'd probably still be in the middle of the first match. I mean, that's why the Premium Live events that WWE does, they just drag on and on and on. Everything goes way too slowly. I mean, I would be okay with that if the matches they were having were like unbelievable, epic 5-star matches, but that's not what they're doing these days. You're lucky if you get one good match on the show. Road Dogg is doing his famous intro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Generation X proudly brings to you its former WWF Tag Team Champions of the World, the New Age Outlaws. I'm eager to see who their opponents are, because I don't even remember them having a match on this card. The crowd loves these guys. Which is interesting because Billy Gunn was a heel for a big chunk of 1999. A hated heel. But that changed at some point. Ah, I see. Yeah, they're showing SmackDown from the previous Thursday, a clip. They're showing that, oh, wow. Mankind and The Rock regained the WWF Tag Team Championships. And one, two, three. Yep. They became the tag champs. And The Rock wasn't too thrilled about becoming tag team champions again with Mankind. But yeah, that's what happened. Oh yeah, here comes the Hollies. It is the Hollies. Hardcore and Crash. Unfortunately, Crash, he passed away not too many years after this event. I mean, and Crash Holly was great as hardcore champion, by the way. In the year 2000, Crash Holly, the entertainment value that he brought to the show, off the charts, and everyone loved him. He had the 24/7 hardcore title matches. I mean, they were like fighting in airports and other hotels. One of the greatest things ever done in wrestling. The 24/7 hardcore title. All right, match has started. Road Dogg and Crash Holly in the ring. Billy Gunn and Crash are in the ring. They're doing quick tags, the New Age Outlaws. Road Dogg back in. Oh, they're double teaming. Double elbow to Crash Holly's gut, and then they just chop him down. Remember, I forgot to mention, the Hollies are the ones who cost the Outlaws the tag titles by interfering in that match, and that's how Rock and Mankind became champions again. Road Dogg doing his signature jabs and shake, rattle, and roll dance. Hardcore Holly tried to put a stop to it, but didn't work because Billy Gunn got in the ring and took care of that. Knee drop by Road Dogg. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Crash Holly kicks out. Road Dogg again went for the cover. They were mentioning Chris Jericho, but I don't think Chris Jericho's on this show, which, if I remember correctly, Chris Jericho is not too thrilled about because, remember, Chris Jericho debuted in the summer of 1999. He started off in the biggest way possible, interrupting a promo by The Rock, and he gave a promo that is still remembered to this day. In my opinion, the greatest WWE debut ever was Chris Jericho. But then here he is a few months later, he's not even on the show. You know, he was at Unforgiven 1999. He faced off against X-Pac. But now here on this pay-per-view, I don't think he's even on the show. Not that I recall anyway. So his WWF career was kind of stalling early on. Like he had short feuds with Road Dogg, X-Pac, Ken Shamrock, but none of it really led to anything. I know that after this show, he gets involved in the Intercontinental title picture late in 1999. I know that. Hardcore Holly and Road Dogg are in the ring. Crash Holly has a chin lock on Road Dogg. Again, chin locks, everybody's favorite move in 1999. Now Hardcore Holly and Road Dogg are in the ring. And Hardcore Holly is on the top rope now. Road Dogg flat on his back, but Road Dogg counters it by getting his foot up right into Hardcore Holly's face. At some point here, Billy Gunn's going to get the hot tag. This is a pretty fast-paced match, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty short. And that's probably why I don't even remember this match being on the card. Here comes Crash Holly. Oh, knocks down Billy Gunn, and now he's attacking Road Dogg. Crash Holly and Hardcore Holly had this gimmick where they would carry weighing scales to the ring, claiming that they were super heavyweights. I guess the joke being that, you know, in their heads, they think they're big, and in reality, they're not. Hardcore Holly just knocked down Road Dogg. Hardcore Holly, chin lock on Road Dogg. Man, chin locks are like the worst thing. I think in the main event of WrestleMania 15, The Rock put a chin lock on Stone Cold Steve Austin, I believe. It was like in the middle of like high intense action, and then he puts in a chin lock, and it's like, gee, main event of WrestleMania, chin lock. Oh wow. Hardcore Holly, picture perfect drop kick on Road Dogg. He was always good at those drop kicks. Hardcore Holly was. Goes for the cover. Billy Gunn breaks it up. Now Crash Holly is in. Crash Holly is in with Road Dogg. Clothesline to Road Dogg. Now Crash is taunting Billy Gunn. Remember, he knocked him down. I have a feeling Billy Gunn will be pinning Crash Holly in this match, probably, after that. Now the Hollies are double teaming Road Dogg. Hardcore Holly went to the top rope, but Road Dogg grabbed the ropes, and so Hardcore Holly landed crotch first on the top turnbuckle. And now Road Dogg, both guys are standing on the very top rope and superplex. The biggest superplex you can do. And again, Billy Gunn should be getting the hot tag any second now. Everyone is trying to get Road Dogg into the... Yeah, they cheered him on and got him to tag in Billy Gunn. All right, now Billy Gunn's in, beating everybody up. Jeez. Billy Gunn splashes in the corner to Crash and Hardcore. Wow. You know, Billy Gunn just hit a jackhammer on Crash Holly. Went for the cover, but the referee is distracted. Now Crash Holly has a steel chair. Billy Gunn, famouser on the chair. And they just rang the bell. I guess disqualifying the Outlaws. I like that finish mainly because it gives the Hollies a win, and the Hollies are a relatively new tag team in the WWF. Now they can claim a victory over the Outlaws without actually pinning the Outlaws, because that wouldn't be a good idea, since the Outlaws are like one of the greatest tag teams in the history of the WWF. So, yeah, that was a good way of advancing a storyline between these two teams. The match itself, nothing special. Thumbs down. So the only match I've given a thumbs up to so far is the very first one, Mideon and Godfather. Mainly because, well, it's as good of a match as you could ever get out of Godfather and Mideon. I mean, those two are not going to have a better match than what we saw. So, and it was more entertaining than the other two matches that we just saw. I really want to see The Rock versus British Bulldog match, because this is at a time when The Rock is so popular that like every offensive move he hits, the crowd goes nuts because they're so focused on him. He has so much charisma, such a connection to the people. Everything he does, they're just glued in on it. So it's very interesting to see somebody who is that popular. I mean, popular to the point where it's like, it's generating just so much excitement just by his presence. Oh, wow. Chyna and Jeff Jarrett for the Intercontinental title up next. Now, at the previous pay-per-view, Unforgiven 1999, Chyna actually pinned Jeff Jarrett. But she pinned Jeff Jarrett after Deborah hit Jeff Jarrett in the head with a guitar. And so the referee found out after the pinfall and reversed the decision, and Jeff Jarrett kept the Intercontinental Championship. So now there's going to be a rematch here between Jarrett and Chyna. This time, it's basically a no-holds-barred match. Oh, well, actually, not really a no-holds-barred match, because you're only allowed to use household items as weapons. That's the rule. So you can use things like a broom and things like that, and a pot or a pan, because the whole feud is based around men versus women. and Jeff Jarrett's chauvinistic views about women. That's what the whole thing is about. So now you pretty much can only use weapons that you find in your kitchen, pretty much. So that's what this match is going to be about. And I'm just going to give you a preview ahead of time. This match is probably Chyna's best match ever. And you got to give some credit to Jeff Jarrett there. I just remember this match is so much better than what anybody expected it to be. They're showing a video package leading up to the match, and it's showing all the stuff that happened in the previous weeks. Yet Jeff Jarrett is showing that this is going to be a good housekeeping match, and and all the weapons that he can use, like a vacuum cleaner, things like that. And he also ended up having matches with women just to like send a message to Chyna. Like he beat up Jacqueline. He beat up Cyndi Lauper, not in a match, just for the heck of it, I guess. Again, yeah, in the lead up to this, he was just attacking women all over the place. Saying women are weak. Well, you know who all the women in the arena will be cheering for. They're showing Jeff Jarrett knocking out Chyna with a toaster on a previous episode of Raw or SmackDown. Yeah, this feud between Chyna and Jeff Jarrett, it's been going on since just after SummerSlam. Because Jeff Jarrett originally put a open contract on his locker room door saying that anybody can sign up to face him for an Intercontinental title match. And Chyna happened to be the first person to sign up. And it started there. And so now here we are, about 2 months later, and this is the climax of the feud between Jarrett and Chyna. So if Chyna loses this one, that'll be the end of the feud. Because technically she lost the previous match by disqualification. So this is supposed to be like the definitive ending to this. Here comes Jeff Jarrett. And he's got Miss Kitty with him. Not Deborah. Because Deborah kind of broke off her relationship, her business relationship with Jeff Jarrett. So now Miss Kitty is her replacement. And I'll just tell you ahead of time, this match is definitely worth watching if you've never seen it before. Jeff Jarrett and Chyna at No Mercy 99. It's extremely entertaining from start to finish. And they're showing all these household weapons in the ring: an ironing board, a kitchen sink, a trash can, a mop, and a bucket. And Jeff Jarrett has the kitchen sink in his hand, raising it above his head. Here comes Chyna. Again, Chyna was very limited in the ring, but the company knew she was a huge star. And so whenever she had a match on a pay-per-view, it usually ended up being pretty good because they would put a lot of effort into laying out the match completely ahead of time. And you can tell because it's like she wasn't just randomly having good matches. The offense in the match, like all of it makes sense. Everything makes sense in the match. So you know they put effort into that match because that's not like how most matches were on pay-per-views at that time. Chyna had a good match against Road Dogg at King of the Ring 1999. Probably, maybe the best match of that night. And if you watch that match, you'll realize like the whole thing must have been laid out prior, but that's a good thing. You know, for Chyna, they needed to do that. Sometimes you got to do that with certain performers. All right, the match has started. Chyna is wearing ring attire that leaves almost nothing to the imagination. Chyna is on the attack early. She just picked up Jeff Jarrett and dropped him face first onto the barricade. They're on the outside here. Oh, they're showing more stuff, like a microwave, more weapons that can be used here. There's like food out there. There's like cake batter. There's like sausages. Clothesline by Chyna and Jeff Jarrett. They're in the ring now. Chyna, reverse atomic drop. Jeff Jarrett gets right in the crotch. That was. Oh, suplex by Chyna on Jeff Jarrett. It's all Chyna so far. She just picked up a trash can right to the head of Jeff Jarrett. See, they're keeping it entertaining early. Another shot to the head of Jeff Jarrett with the trash can. See, this is one of those things where it's like, if it was just a straight up match between Chyna and Jeff Jarrett, I mean, there's really not going to be much to see there because it's not going to be that great. I mean, they had a match at Unforgiven, and that was an okay match. But, you know, this is much better. You need a lot of bells and whistles to keep this match interesting between Chyna and Jeff. Because, again, at the end of the day, it is a man versus a woman. And Jeff doesn't want to sell the whole match for a woman. Oh, wow. Chyna just picked up a toilet lid and just slammed it over Jeff Jarrett's head. And another trash can to the head of Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett's getting whooped. Now she has found, what is this? Oh, banana. She found a banana and shoves it in Jeff Jarrett's mouth. He's choking on it. Oh, now she's got some kind of like whipped cream or something. Just put it in Jeff Jarrett's hair. This is just humiliation. That's what this is. Chyna humiliating Jeff Jarrett for all the chauvinistic, toxically masculine remarks that he made over the past 2 months. Trash can lid to the head of Jeff Jarrett by Chyna. I mean, this all makes sense though, because remember, it's a woman versus a man. So to level the playing field here and have her control most of the early part of this match, she's using weapon after weapon after weapon, and that's probably the right way to do it. Oh, wow. Kick to Jeff Jarrett's gut. Now, Chyna's got a table here. She cleared off the table. Jeff Jarrett is laying on the table. Chyna is standing on the ring apron. And goes for... Oh, wow. She goes for an elbow onto Jeff Jarrett through a table. But Jeff moved at the last second. So Chyna went straight through the table. Jeff Jarrett goes for the cover. And Chyna gets a shoulder up at 2. Yeah, Chyna has been made to look very good so far in this match. Because even right now, as she went through that table, Jeff Jarrett didn't land any offense on her. He just moved. Oh, wow. Now Jeff is landing offense. He just picked up a trash can and hit her in the head with it. Now Jeff Jarrett has some, like a fish. And just, this is just these two people humiliating each other. Like, she hit her, he hit her with a fish. I mean, come on. It's not exactly doing real damage. All right, now Jeff Jarrett has Chyna in the ring. Throws her headfirst into an ironing board. Yeah, this is just a funny match. But all these weapons are keeping it interesting. And now the crowd is cheering on Chyna because she's no longer in control of the match. Jeff Jarrett just Irish whipped Chyna over the top rope to the outside. Okay, now Jeff Jarrett and Miss Kitty are standing at this table that has food on it. They just broke a bunch of eggs and threw it in a pot. And Miss Kitty poured some milk in the pot. Okay, now she's pouring flour in the hands of Jeff Jarrett. And Chyna throws the flour in his face. And now Jeff Jarrett is blinded by the flour. Now Chyna has Miss Kitty by the hair. She's had enough of Miss Kitty. Okay, she's got that pan of garbage that, eggs and milk and that they just filled up and just poured it all over Miss Kitty's head. She is now covered in whatever that was, eggs and flour and milk and whatever. But Jeff Jarrett is in the ring now, going for the figure four leg lock. He got it locked in. He's got it locked in. Teddy Long, the referee, is asking Chyna if she wants to give up. She's writhing in pain. Chyna is reaching for the ropes, trying to break the hold. And she's pushing herself towards it. Jeff Jarrett's trying to stop it. She grabs the ropes. The referee is telling him he's got to break the hold. Jeff Jarrett breaks the hold. Uh-oh. Miss Kitty just handed Jeff Jarrett some tongs. Jeff Jarrett is standing on the second rope with those tongs. Goes to hit Chyna with it, but Chyna lands a low blow instead. Now Chyna's got the tongs, and she's grabbing Jeff Jarrett's genitals with the tongs. You see? Now this is pro wrestling at its best. It's fun. It's entertaining. Everything makes sense. Chyna just hit Jeff Jarrett in the head with the trash can. Hits him again with a trash can. Grabs a pot. Hits him in the head with the pot. Now there's a bunch of pies and cakes. Pie to the face of Jeff Jarrett. Another pie to the face of Jeff Jarrett. Jim Ross is saying he's never seen anything like this in his life. Now Chyna's got the kitchen sink. Hits him in the head with the kitchen sink. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Jarrett gets the shoulder up. Oh, wow. The crowd does not like that. They thought that was the end. Okay, now Chyna has a big cake. Puts it flat on the mat. Now, Chyna going for the pedigree. Going for the pedigree. Doesn't work. Oh, Jeff Jarrett drops Chyna on the cake. Then slingshots her into the referee. And now the referee's down. Now Jeff Jarrett is telling Miss Kitty to get something. Oh, and Jeff Jarrett, Miss Kitty gave him the Intercontinental title belt. He just hit Chyna in the face with the Intercontinental title belt. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. And Jeff Jarrett retains the Intercontinental Championship, or does he? Let's see. Let's see what goes on. He's walking up the entryway, celebrating his victory. So is Miss Kitty. But the referee is running after him. Why is that? Teddy Long is explaining to Jeff Jarrett, hey, you did not win the match because you used the Intercontinental title belt as a household. Oh, no, the Intercontinental title belt is not a legal weapon in this match because it's not a household item. That's why. You can only use household items as weapons. So now Howard Finkel is letting the crowd know the crowd is going nuts. He's letting the crowd know this match must continue. So Jeff Jarrett is livid. And he's mad at the referee. And he's about to lock the referee in a figure 4 leg lock. Uh-oh. Chyna, with the guitar, hits Jeff Jarrett in the head with the guitar, goes for the cover. The referee, 1, 2, 3. Chyna is now the Intercontinental Champion. You see women celebrating in the crowd, everybody celebrating. This is a long time coming because this feud's been going on for a while. Chyna becomes the very first woman to become Intercontinental Champion, and to this day, she is still the only woman who has won the Intercontinental Championship. Very entertaining match, very fun. It shows why pro wrestling is so entertaining and great. Best match on the show so far, by the way. So thumbs up for that one. And Chyna, you can see that she's genuinely happy. She did something that no woman has ever done before. The Intercontinental Championship has been around for how many years? I mean, the history of the Intercontinental Championship, I think I actually have that DVD, History of the Intercontinental Title. I mean, remember, who's been Intercontinental Champion before? Macho Man Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. You know, like it's a who's who. And now Chyna adds her name to the list. Historic match, and also a very entertaining match. The star power of Chyna at this time, especially after winning the IC title. I mean, she was a role model to a lot of young girls and women everywhere. I mean, because she was doing things that nobody had ever done. In 1999, she was the very first woman to ever enter a Royal Rumble match. Now that happens like it's nothing. Nia Jax will show up, or whoever will show up in the the Royal Rumble match. But she was the very first woman to enter a Royal Rumble. She was the very first woman to enter a King of the Ring tournament. And here she is. She's the very first woman to win the Intercontinental Championship. And unfortunately, Chyna's career in the WWE was over less than 2 years after the show. I mean, she got a big win at WrestleMania 17, but really not much happened after that. That's 2001. She won the women's title at WrestleMania 17, but after that, it was just like, I don't know, she just disappeared. And there's a debate as to really why her career in the WWF ended. The company has one version of events, she has another version of events. Unfortunately, she's passed away, but she will always be remembered in wrestling history for what she did. Now they're showing a video package for the next match, which is going to be The Rock versus the British Bulldog, which I'm looking forward to seeing, because everything that The Rock does during this time, 1999 and 2000, I mean, The Rock was like, everything he touches turns to gold. Every match he has, everybody's entertained by it, no matter what happens at this time. It was just exciting to see The Rock in late 1999 and early 2000. Actually, not early 2000, all of 2000 and early 2001. Like, The Rock was just on fire. Oh, they're showing the lead up where this was a very famous moment. The British Bulldog and Triple H had a WWF title match, and The Rock was the special guest referee. The Rock hates both of them. And in the end, it just didn't amount to anything. Triple H is still the champion, but British Bulldog got attacked during the match by The Rock. This was when British Bulldog was wrestling wearing like jeans that were rolled up at the bottom. It was almost like a strange thing because British Bulldog came back to the WWF. British Bulldog obviously was a big star in the WWF during the 1980s, during the 1990s as part of the Hart Foundation. But he was gone for a little bit, and then he comes back, and he's sort of out of place. Like, he comes back wearing his Union Jack tights and everything, and it just wasn't working. So they gave him a little more of a, like a new millennium type of edge to him. and it really didn't go very far. I mean, the Bulldog literally after this match with The Rock here on this show, his career just goes down to pretty much nothing, and then he's like on Sunday Night Heat and having nothing matches and stuff. Like, that's what happens to him. Anyway, here comes the Bulldog. Making his way to the ring. I will say one thing, Bulldog is in incredible physical condition. Bulldog passed away at a very young age. I think he was only like 39 years old. And, well, I mean, his steroid abuse was well known. And a lot of guys a lot of the wrestlers who abused steroids in the 80s and the 90s, quite a few of them died very early, like in their 30s or maybe 40s. Eddie Guerrero is another person who unfortunately died at an extremely young age, in his 30s. I think he was only like 38. Here comes The Rock, and the crowd is going bananas. This is The Rock at the peak of his powers. I mean, this is like, I mean, he could do no wrong. The crowd is going to love this guy no matter what he does, no matter what he says, whether the match is good, whether the match is bad. The funny thing is, it's like he can make every match good at this time because they are on the edge of their seat watching everything he does with great interest. And he's in phenomenal physical condition. He was so young at this time. The Rock was only 27 years old when this match happened. A 27-year-old Dwayne Johnson. And he was at the top of the industry. I mean, nobody had ever seen a connection like this between a guy and the fans. I mean, this was like, he could stand in the ring and say nothing and do nothing, and they will chant his name all night long. I mean, that's the kind of stuff this guy can pull off. He doesn't have to say a word. Doesn't have to do anything. It's amazing how he turned his career around, because if you remember in 1997, I mean, you go back and watch WrestleMania 13 with The Rock facing off against the Sultan, who was played by Rikishi, and the people were booing him because he was a white meat babyface. Then he turns heel in 97 and completely turns his career around and becomes one of the biggest stars in the history of the business. And to this day, he's still involved in wrestling. The match has started. The Rock just clotheslined Bulldog over the top rope. And Rock is landing punches to Bulldog on the outside. Uh-oh. Rock is bringing Bulldog to the timekeeper's area, and Bulldog reverses, throws him head first into the timekeeper's table, and Bulldog just threw a steel chair at The Rock. I don't think this is a no DQ match, but the referee's letting it slide. Okay. Bulldog just threw The Rock into the steel steps. And once again, he trying to Irish whip The Rock, but Rock reverses, throws Bulldog into the steel steps on the outside. Bulldog lifts up The Rock and drops him face first into the English announce table. All right, now Bulldog and The Rock are back in the ring. Snapmare by Bulldog and a chin lock by Bulldog. I'm telling you, during the Attitude Era, watch the pay-per-views. In almost every match, you can find someone doing a chin lock at some point. Okay, Rock fighting back though. Oh, but knee to the gut by Bulldog. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Rock kicks out. like the thing about Rock's matches at this time, there's always this like low roar in the crowd during the match because like they're so into it and they're so into all of Rock's offense. Like they never get bored of a Rock match, no matter what's going on at this time. This is October 1999. It's like the second half of 99 and all of 2000 and then early 2001 right up to the night after WrestleMania 17. The crowd is just so attached to The Rock. It's almost like just mind-blowing to watch because nobody else on the show has this kind of connection to the fans. I mean, Austin, super popular and everything, but he could have a boring match here and there. I mean, he was great though. I mean, he was great, but it's just like this kind of connection is out of control. Bulldog vertical suplex on The Rock, goes for the cover. Rock kicks out at 2. And another chin lock by the Bulldog. Crowd chanting Rocky. They never like to see The Rock in a vulnerable position in any match. They want to see him lay it on the Bulldog here. But he's still got that chin lock on. Earl Hebner checking The Rock's arm as Bulldog has this hold in. He just raised his arm twice and it fell. Now this is the third time and The Rock is still in it. And the crowd is cheering. Now Rock is fighting out. Punch to Bulldog's gut. Punch to Bulldog's face. Bulldog rakes the eyes. Rock, Samoan drop. Didn't quite hit it correctly. The Rock went for the cover. Bulldog kicks out. Oh, man. Yo, Bulldog just low blowed The Rock. The Rock released an autobiography around this time called Know Your Role. I think that's what it's called. Oh, no, it's called The Rock Says. That's right. And he became a New York Times #1 bestseller. I mean, that shows you how popular wrestling was at this time and also how popular The Rock was. I mean, a 27-year-old guy releasing an autobiography, New York Times #1 bestseller. I mean, you don't hear stories like that. I mean, that's crazy. Rock hits a DDT on Bulldog. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Bulldog kicks out. So far, they're having a very average match. But again, it's a Rock match, so everyone's going to love it anyway. I mean, The Rock is so smooth in the ring at this point. Like, if you look at his matches from, like, just 1 year prior to this show, if you look at him in 98, like the second half of 98, or even early 98, his matches were much slower. His offense was not as explosive. He's also, like, a lot more athletic, it looks like, at this time. I mean, not a lot more, obviously. The Rock has always been a great athlete throughout his life. But, like, he was so much quicker in the ring in the second half of 99. Rock bottom on the Bulldog. Going for the people's elbow here. And he just hit the people's elbow on the Bulldog. Let me guess, this is the finish. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. You know, that was a real quick match. Really nothing special. But it's The Rock. What are you going to say? And it's like, it's going to be entertaining. And boy, that was a pretty decisive victory by The Rock, because that was an extremely short match. And like I said, the Bulldog's career after that match literally goes nowhere. It just, he's relegated to the bottom of the card and the secondary shows like Sunday Night Heat. And it just, that's it for Bulldog. I mean, it's such a shame because he had just returned to the WWF, like I think it was September, maybe August, late August, I don't know. But this is only October, and this is pretty much the end of his push because he was in the main event of the previous pay-per-view, Unforgiven 99. Bulldog was in contention for the WWF Championship. I think when they brought Bulldog back, they had high hopes for him, but it just didn't lead to anything. And then I think he had to go to rehab and stuff. It was just a disaster. So his career kind of went south, and then unfortunately he passed away not too many years after this. So it's a bad situation. Meanwhile, The Rock is on top of the world these days. Now, I don't know if this is the next match, but I know there's a Mankind versus Val Venis match on this card. Oh no, okay, so I think, oh, we're in for a good one now. I believe this is the Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian in a tag team ladder match. Now, the story behind this ladder match is this. You see, these two teams had a best of 7 series. I guess sort of just to figure out who's the best among them. But also, this is for the managerial services of Terry Runnels, who was a WWF diva at the time. And on top of that, the winner of this match gets $100,000, and that is what is hanging above the ring. So there's a bag full of $100,000, and the point of the match is to climb a ladder and grab the bag filled with cash. So that's what leads into this match. Now, I gotta say, this was actually a pay-per-view that I saw live, and it was actually the very first pay-per-view I ever saw live. And when this match was gonna happen, I wasn't like super excited about it or anything. I mean, I had seen these teams wrestle before, and I knew they were good teams, but this was before they reached superstardom. Edge, Christian, Matt, and Jeff Hardy, these are young guys at this time, all in their 20s, very early in their careers, and they had some entertaining matches, but like I wasn't thinking this match was going to be like anything super special. Boy, was I wrong. This turned out to be the biggest surprise of the night, and like you can see it when you watch this match and you see the crowd reactions. They are blown away by what these 4 guys do, and we'll see that right now. It's so fun to watch because the crowd is seeing things that they've never seen before. Like this is a groundbreaking match in pro wrestling history. You want to know why so many guys do crazy stuff in matches and do these crazy ladder matches that involve all these like tables and this and that and all these like building structures with chairs, and it's like you want to know why they do all that? It starts with this match. This is where that started, with the craziness with the ladders and all the other weapons, and this is where it started. That's why people do all this nutty stuff. They want to go down in history like the Hardys and Edge and Christian. Meanwhile, they're just putting their health at risk for no reason, because at this point, this is 2024, all of those matches have been done to death. It's so overdone to like, you know, do a jump off a 20-foot ladder to the outside through 4 tables. Like it's been done so many times. And like, you know, power bombing people through ladders that are set up, like everything's been done. Like now it's just, you know, watching people like put their life at risk. And I mean, that's really what it's turned into, which I don't really like. I wish ladder matches in 2024 would return to what they used to be. Like, remember when Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon had a ladder match at WrestleMania 10? One of the greatest ladder matches of all time. And guess what? It was a very simple match. They didn't, you know, they did some high risk stuff in that match, but they weren't trying to like end their careers. You know, like they weren't doing stuff that was going to possibly lead to a career ending injury, you know, but that's what people do these days because they're crazy. And they think, oh yeah, that's going to get attention. And no, it's not. It's just stupidity. Okay, the match has started. All four guys are in the ring right now. No ladder in the ring yet. $100,000 in cash hanging above the ring. Oh, Edge just speared Matt Hardy in the corner. And Christian clotheslines Jeff in the corner. And now I've heard these four guys talk about this match before. Edge and Christian used to have a podcast, and was it on their podcast where they discussed this? I forget. I mean, I know they interviewed the Hardy Boys on their podcast, and I believe they spoke about what led up to this match, because there was actually a worry that Edge wasn't even going to make the show because he was living in an area where, unfortunately, I think a hurricane had struck, and he was having trouble finding like a flight to get to the arena, and all this crazy stuff was happening. And Edge arrived so late to the arena that he wasn't even involved in the planning of the match because, you know, there was like no time. I think he had to like he was texting or something or calling them, trying to give them his ideas for the match. Anyway, so this whole thing came together like last second. Anyway, Jeff just tried to get the ladder, which was set up in the entryway, and Edge just drop kicked him and he dropped the ladder. Now Matt is standing on the ring apron, clotheslines Edge to the ground. Edge tried to grab the ladder. And Christian springboard off the second rope in the ring to the outside, lands on Matt Hardy. Now Christian has the ladder and finally puts it in the ring. It's the first time the ladder's been in the ring in this match. And I think Christian also mentioned that prior to the match, he was so nervous. He was so nervous that Edge had to calm him down. Like, because he knew what they had to do here. And I mean, it is an intimidating thing. I mean, they're doing things that, you know, that have never been done before in this match. Edge was climbing the ladder, and then Matt Hardy just pushed him down. Pushed the ladder down on top of him. Now Christian's got the ladder. Hits Matt with it. Now Jeff is trying to grab the ladder from Christian. Tug of war going on. Oh, Christian just bum rushed Jeff in the... Okay, so now this is where the crazy stuff starts. Christian set up the ladder in the corner with Jeff pinned against the turnbuckles, and Christian ran up the ladder and kicked him in the face. And Edge mentioned when they were talking about this match on a podcast, like when he heard the crowd reaction to that move that Christian did, he was like, boy, if they went crazy for that, they have so much more planned in this match. He knows they're going to just rip the roof off this place. So now Jeff is setting up the ladder in the middle. Jeff climbing. Christian reverse DDT off the ladder. See, again, this is not something they had seen before. The crowd is clapping, okay? Because they are stunned by what they're seeing. Like they haven't seen like this kind of stuff. It's so overdone now, but like this was brand new back then. And I remember watching this match live with like my mouth open, like I cannot believe what they're doing. Matt Hardy, back suplex off the ladder. And again, they're doing this in rapid succession. So starting, oh wait, they're just showing a replay of something I forgot to mention. Like Edge and Christian just did like poetry in motion to Matt Hardy, who was leaning against, like the ladder was leaning against him. See, they're doing all this so rapidly, the crowd can't even catch their breath. Okay, now Edge. Matt was climbing the ladder and Edge just powerbombed him off of it. You see, like, literally, they're not even waiting 30 seconds to do the next big spot, next big spot, next big spot. So, like the crowd is in shock here. Jeff Hardy, missile drop kick off the top turnbuckle to Edge, who was climbing the ladder. Edge falls off the ladder. Now, and again, Jim Ross is also surprised by what he's seeing. It's like, what are we seeing here? He's like even that very first move that Christian did, running up the ladder to just kick Jeff Hardy in the head. Jim Ross is like, oh, what is this here? It's like, because they hadn't seen this kind of stuff. This is all new. And they're showing Jeff Hardy, swanton bomb to Edge, who was laying on the flat ladder in the ring. See, they just go from one big spot. Now they're setting up the next big spot. Matt Hardy leaning the ladder against the turnbuckle. See, that's the key. The pace of this match is so fast. Jeff, poetry in motion. Jeff and Matt just hit that on Christian in the corner where Christian was leaning against the ladder. Okay, now Matt and Jeff have the ladder. They're going to use it like a... They basically clothesline Christian in the head with the ladder. Like what this crowd has seen over the past like 5 minutes, not even, is their mind is blown. Okay, now, next big spot. Ladder set up in the corner. Jeff Hardy leapfrogs over the top of the ladder from the top turnbuckle, lands a leg drop on Christian, and the crowd is on their feet giving him a round of applause for what he just did. See, I mean, when I was watching this, I was like, I think in my head, I was like, they got to give these guys a raise for what they're doing here, because at this time, these guys were pretty much at the, oh, geez. See, they had the ladder on top of Christian, flat on the mat, and Matt Hardy just did a moonsault onto the ladder. Like, they're doing so many big things that you're taking it for granted. And it's just amazing what they're doing. Edge just took another ladder and threw it at Jeff, who was climbing the ladder to get to the cash that's hanging above the ring. And they have a camera where the $100,000 in cash is, like watching down over the ring. I think that was the very first time they used this camera angle, possibly. Because I don't remember seeing it in a match before this. It's basically like a camera hanging from the ceiling. Anyway, so this is the match that catapulted Edge, Christian, and the Hardys to mega stardom. You know, it's like, okay, Edge was climbing the ladder. This time Matt throws the ladder at him and he falls off and both ladders fall. And Jim Ross is saying these four men may never be the same after this match. Matt and Jeff, Christian hits a crossbody to a ladder that Matt and Jeff were holding. See, again, this is all new inventions coming from these guys. Nobody had ever seen this before in the WWF. Oh, wow. Edge and Christian just threw a ladder into Matt Hardy's crotch. Matt Hardy is sitting in the corner. And then they just did a baseball slide into the ladder, into Matt Hardy's crotch. So now Jeff is being sandwiched inside of a ladder. Edge and Christian are just pancaking him with half of the ladder. I'm telling you, these guys knew what they were doing. Okay, wow. And then Edge and Christian just did a double team where Christian landed stomach first on the ladder onto Jeff Hardy, who is sandwiched in the ladder. Now, this is like, you're watching these guys turn into stars over the course of about like 15 minutes, 16 minutes. That's how long this match is. And like, you're watching a person, like you're watching four guys just cement their places in history. I mean, there's certain matches where you're watching them and you're like, wow, these people just, they just etched their name into the annals of professional wrestling history. I remember feeling that when I watched Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. Go watch that match. At that time, I was like, that was probably the best one-on-one women's match in WWF history. WWE history at that time. Edge just hit a downward spiral on Jeff Hardy. They were standing on opposing ladders, and he just hit that move off the ladders. Yeah, I mean, I think another match where I watched somebody like really raise their value, CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy in a TLC match, SummerSlam 2009. That's when CM Punk cemented himself as a main eventer, like that he deserves that main event spot, because so many people were doubting him ever since he entered the WWE on the main roster in 2006. But 3 years later, he showed them, yeah, he deserves the main event. Go watch SummerSlam '09. That's and Matt Hardy just hit a neck breaker on Edge off of opposing ladders. They're standing on opposing ladders. Jim Ross is so excited about this match. You should listen to his commentary, because he knows that these guys are doing something remarkable here, and this crowd knows they're watching something historic. And this wasn't like a match that was heavily advertised for the show. It was just like a mid-card match. That's all it was supposed to be. Instead, they end up stealing the show. Jeez. Hip toss by Christian on Jeff Hardy over the top of the ladder to the ground below. Oh, wow. Edge just like threw this ladder face first into Matt Hardy, which knocked Matt Hardy outside the ring. So now Edge and Christian are alone with Jeff in the ring. By the way, nobody expected No Mercy in 1999 to be this like historic show. But, okay, what you saw with Chyna and Jeff Jarrett, I mean, that is Chyna's best match ever. And obviously the history of the first woman winning the WWF Intercontinental title. Okay. Right now, they're going to do something crazy. They got 2 ladders set up in the middle of the ring. Not set up, but like they're... Oh, that's probably one of my favorite spots of all time, because the crowd is on their feet and they're clapping. Now, what they just did, it's kind of hard to describe. Basically, they made a seesaw with a ladder, right? And then Jeff Hardy is on the top turnbuckle. He jumps off, and when he jumps off and he's in midair, everyone goes silent. The crowd goes silent. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler go silent because they don't even know what they're seeing. Jeff Hardy lands butt first onto one ladder, and then it seesaws up, so the other end of the ladder hits Matt and Christian in the face. And like, people are just like, what are they watching here? I mean, it's like, because it's so hilarious when Jeff jumps off that top turnbuckle, the entire arena is silent for like a split second. And then he lands, and their brains explode because they didn't even see that coming. This is the kind of inventive stuff these young guys came up with. All right, now, 2 ladders are set up in the middle of the ring. All 4 guys are climbing to grab that bag of cash in the middle. It's hanging. It looks like it's so high up in the air. And, oh, wow. All 4 guys knocked down. Both ladders have fallen. And the crowd is cheering. They're on their feet, clapping. And to think, these guys went into this match with all this planned, and they're like, yeah, we're going to do all this crazy stuff with the ladders, and everything's going to work out perfectly. It's like nobody's ever done half of this stuff before, but yeah. Well, luck was on their side this time. Because I mean, what would have happened if these ladders just gave out and just broke and like I think that actually happened to one of these things and Jeff told Christian like, "Oh no, it's okay, I'll fix it," and he like fixed one of the ladders in the middle of a match. I don't know if it's this match, but in one of the many ladder matches these teams had together, something happened to one of the ladders and like Jeff fixed it in the middle of the match. Okay, this is the ending is coming now. Once again, the ladders are set up. All four guys on the ladder. Now Jeff goes from one ladder to another. The other three guys are down. He's at the top. He's got the cash in his hand. And he got it loose. He's got it. Hardy Boys win the match. One of the greatest wrestling matches of all time. And the match that made these guys superstars. I mean, these guys had been toiling away in the wrestling industry for years prior to this. I think Edge and Christian in the very early 90s, they debuted, very early 90s. I mean, they had been in the wrestling industry for at least 5 years at this point. Matt and Jeff about the same. You know, probably more than 5 years. And they had been toiling away and really not getting much of anything. I mean, 1999 was like the year for these guys where they finally got some opportunities on pay-per-view. Matt and Jeff won the tag titles in 1999. Edge and Christian wouldn't win them until the following year at WrestleMania. But this was the moment where all those years of toiling away finally paid off. And they just turned themselves into, you know, well, it's kind of a gift and a curse. They turned themselves into superstars, but then they just kept putting these guys in ladder matches for the rest of their careers, which took such a heavy toll on all these guys. But you know what? All four guys, still active wrestlers today. Edge is out with an injury, but Matt and Jeff Hardy are the TNA World Wrestling, well, TNA World Tag Team Champions. But, and Christian Cage is on fire in AEW. Oh, Matt and Jeff Hardy are celebrating with Terry Runnels backstage. Yeah, well, anyway, that was an epic match. And if you haven't seen Matt and Jeff Hardy face off against Edge and Christian in that tag team ladder match at No Mercy 99, you got to go watch that match. One of the greatest matches you'll ever see. So fast-paced, too. I mean, for the kind of spots they were doing and taking, you know, usually, like, the advice that older wrestlers give to younger wrestlers is to slow down. But in this case, going at the pace that they were going, they probably had to because they were only given about 15 minutes for this match. They probably had to go real fast to get in everything they wanted to get in. So there wasn't a ton of selling going on in this match. I mean, it's like, because they were just going one spot to the next, to the next, to the next. And then they put on one of the greatest matches of all time. Now they're showing Mankind, Mick Foley, backstage. This was right around the time when Mankind released his very first book called Have a Nice Day. One of the greatest books you'll ever read about professional wrestling. It's about Mick Foley's whole WWF, not just his WWF career, his entire wrestling career, how he got into it, all the crazy adventures he had. And it was a New York Times #1 best-selling book. I don't know if he was the first wrestler to achieve that. He might have been, though. But I know since then, The Rock has done it, Chris Jericho's done it, and probably a bunch of other people have done it. But I remember reading that book when I was a very little kid, and it was pivotal. You know, it's like it showed me, wow, I mean, the things that this guy went through to become who he is, insane stuff. Anyway, Mankind has a match against Val Venis on the show. I don't know if that's up next or... You know, The Rock is already showered and He's already had his match, and he's already. Oh no, this must have been on Sunday Night Heat. So Mankind accidentally gave his book to somebody else. He thought he had given it to The Rock, but he's mistaken because he gave it to somebody who's in the bathroom, but he can't see who it is. Now he's about to find out who he just gave it to. He's going back into the bathroom to find out who just took his book. And he's getting attacked by Val Venis. And yes, that's his opponent for this night. Yeah, he's getting the heck beaten out of him. Anyway, I really like the pace of this pay-per-view. That's a big problem with WWE's premium live events today. They have way too many commercials, way too many long video packages, and there's just so much extra stuff going on the show that just fills up time that nobody needs to see. Now, this show, I'm only about, an hour and a half into it, and a little more than an hour and a half, and we've had a ton of matches. They've gone from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. It never gets boring. Everything's pretty entertaining. Some things are amazing, like the Jeff Jarrett Chyna match and the tag team ladder match I just watched. And that's how you do it. And now we're expecting the next match to be Mankind versus Val Venis, but now The Rock is coming out here unexpectedly. See, they have some unpredictability in the show. That was a big thing about the Attitude Era. Lots of unpredictability. And unfortunately, WWE has strayed away from that these days. A lot of what we see today is very predictable. I mean, we know, like, going into Crown Jewel tomorrow for the WWE, right? There's going to be a Bloodline versus Bloodline match, right? But we know that's not the end of the feud. We know these teams are going to be facing each other at Survivor Series, with Sami Zayn getting involved in the match too. I mean, he's going to be part of that War Games match at Survivor Series. We know that. They haven't announced it. They haven't talked about it. But in today's WWE, you can see things coming a mile away. There's very little unpredictability anymore. The Attitude Era, every show was unpredictable. You had no idea what was gonna happen on Raw, SmackDown, on the pay-per-views. It was like, that was why they got like 8 million, 9 million, 10 million people plus tuning in to every show. I mean, that's how you do it. You got to glue people in. You got to give them cliffhangers at the end of a show so that they tune in next week. You got to keep it exciting. You got to keep it fast paced. They don't really do that much anymore, you know? They have a different approach. And it's working. I mean, the WWE's business is doing extremely well, but is the quality of their programming as good as it was in 1999? Of course not. Now, The Rock is cutting a promo, and nobody knows why he's out here. This wasn't announced. So, he's out there. He's already had his match. He showered, got dressed, and here he is cutting a promo. The Rock says he has a challenge in mind, and it is for the winner of the main event tonight at No Mercy. He doesn't care if Triple H wins. He doesn't care if it's Stone Cold Steve Austin who wins. He wants a shot at the WWF Championship. Remember, at this point, The Rock had not been champion since WrestleMania 15. That is March 1999. This show is taking place in October. So, about 6 months have passed without Rock being champion. Meanwhile, he's right there with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the most popular person in the wrestling industry at this time. He's got the crowd in the palm of his hands. He's doing all his catchphrases. The crowd is playing along with everything. He's saying when he gets his shot at the WWF title, The Rock versus whoever the winner of the Triple H Austin match later in the show, he's going to become WWF champion again. Okay, he's doing his, so he's finished with his promo. He said, if you smell what The Rock, and then he paused. And now he's not saying anything. And of course, the crowd is hanging on his every word. Now they're going to start chanting his name again. Rocky. They're chanting Rocky. You want to see a masterclass in how to deliver a promo? Watch his promo here from No Mercy 99. Because it's such a short, simple promo. He's not even doing anything special. But the crowd is like captivated by his mere presence. I mean, who else has that kind of effect on anybody these days? I mean, CM Punk does a pretty good job of it, I guess. He might be the closest one when he's cutting promos. I'm just saying, who captures their attention when they're cutting promos like this? CM Punk is probably the one who comes the closest. And The Rock was walking to the back, and Triple H decided to attack him with a sledgehammer here. And he is hammering Rock in the ribs and midsection with a sledgehammer. Remember, Triple H has a match later in the show. Triple H is the WWF champion. But he took time out of his day to come attack The Rock with the sledgehammer. Even though it's just like, I mean, it makes sense because The Rock, Triple H's whole thing during this time was being the most vicious, heinous, evil human being in wrestling. And he was. I mean, you go back and watch Triple H from, like, just watch Triple H during the summer and fall of 1999, and you will see just the most heinous acts committed by this guy. And that's why everybody hated him. He was a true heel. He wasn't like a cool heel that everybody loves to hate. You know, like, I know like a lot of heels these days, they like to like, they want the fans to secretly like them. That's not what a real heel does. A real heel makes you hate him. And Triple H made everyone hate him back in 1999 and 2000. There was nothing likable about Triple H at this time. Nothing. That's the way it's supposed to be. Anyway, they're loading Rock onto a stretcher here to stretcher him out of the ringside area. Obviously, in storyline, he probably has internal injuries from being attacked with a sledgehammer. And by the way, this little segment here between The Rock and his promo and Triple H's attack is a nice surprise for the fans. But remember, it also affects the main event because you're like, okay, Triple H is in the main event for the WWF title facing off against Stone Cold. And he just taken out The Rock with a sledgehammer. Will that have an impact on what happens later in the night? Maybe it will. We will find out. Well, here comes Val Venis, who's facing off against Mankind. Val Venis is the heel in this match, which is a little strange because Val Venis was always a beloved character. And I think he turned heel just for this feud. And it's so strange because it's like the feud is over Val Venis like stealing Mr. Rocco, I guess, or something. It's over some silly thing. It's not even really a feud. And by the way, if you read Mankind's book, which they're promoting on the show, Have a Nice Day, he'll mention that during this stage of his career, he wasn't really putting a ton of effort into his matches, but nobody really noticed. Like, because Mankind, Mick Foley, was so loved by the fans that he didn't have to put on 5-star matches at this point to get them interested in the match. I mean, he could really just put on an average match and that was fine. You know, people were okay with it. But let's see this match with Val Venis. I think this is kind of like a funny match, or it ends in a funny way. And we'll see how that plays out. Oh yeah, they just mentioned that Mankind is one half of the tag team champions. He is with The Rock. They had just regained those titles. The Rock and Sock connection. Uh-oh. They're showing Mankind backstage checking on The Rock, who is in severe pain after that attack from Triple H. and medical personnel are attending to The Rock. Mankind is saying he's going to take care of Val Venis for The Rock. He's dedicating this match to The Rock. Oh, here comes Mankind. I would say 1999 was probably Mick Foley's best year in terms of what he accomplished. I mean, he won the WWF title multiple times in an epic feud with The Rock at the beginning of the year. He had an I Quit match with The Rock, which will go down in history as one of the greatest matches ever, and one of the most brutal endings to a wrestling match you'll ever see. And he had some other good matches with The Rock, like an empty arena match against The Rock. He had a last man standing match with The Rock. He had a ladder match with The Rock, all during the first quarter of 1999. Then he main evented SummerSlam against Austin and Triple H that year, won the WWF title unexpectedly, and then loses the WWF title to Triple H. That was Triple H's very first WWF title win. And then the rest of the year, was Rock and Sock Connection. Mankind and The Rock. So, I mean, 1999 was just like it was a banner year for Mick Foley. And he did well in 2000 before he retired as well. I mean, he had some epic matches in 2000. He has a street fight with Triple H in Madison Square Garden at Royal Rumble 2000. That's an epic match that goes down in history as one of the greatest ever. Then he has a Hell in a Cell match against Triple H at the following pay-per-view, No Way Out 2000. Then he main events WrestleMania for the very first time, and the only time, with The Rock, Triple H, and Big Show at WrestleMania 2000. And that was his last match for quite a while. By the way, the match with Mankind and Val Venis is underway. Nothing major has happened yet. Mankind just landed a knee to Val Venis, who was in the corner, sitting there in the corner. Now, oh wow, Mankind just did a leg drop into Val Venis's crotch. And Teddy Long, the referee, is asking Val if he wants to give up after that. Okay, now check this out. Mankind is reaching down into Val Venis's trunks. Now this is because, oh wow, he's pulling something out, and Val Venis is holding on to it, and it's like this long thing that he's pulling out of Val's tights, and it's another sock. It's Mr. Rocco. You see, Val Venis had stolen Mr. Rocco and stuffed his underwear with it prior to this match. And, he just attacked Mankind. He got it back and shoved it back in his trunks. See, this is a comedic match, you know. Like, they're just doing this for fun. I mean, the feud is over this Mr. Rocco that is stuffed into Val Venis's trunks to make his bulge look bigger. Yeah. And what can I say? That's what this is about. They're fighting outside the ring now. Remember, Val has Mr. Rocco in his trunks. And Mankind has Mr. Sacco in his pants. Val just Irish whipped Mankind into the barricade, and then Val ran into Mankind, but Mankind booted him in the face and then clotheslined him. Mankind is picking up a steel chair. Again, this is not a no DQ match, but I guess rules are out the window on this night. Yeah, Mankind just took Val Venis and threw him headfirst into a steel chair, and the referee's cool with that. Sometimes they apply the rules, sometimes they don't. Oh, look at this. Val Venis hits a back suplex onto that chair that was set up. Oh, that looked brutal. And the crowd is chanting a-hole at Val Venis for doing that. Again, no disqualification. I mean, this is not a no disqualification match, but apparently the referee has decided to make it one because he's not disqualifying either of these guys for the use of the chair. Anyway, Mankind has the mandible claw on Val Venis right now on the outside, but Val counters and throws Mankind into the ring post. But Mankind has it locked in again, mandible claw on Val. And Val just rams his head into the ring post. So now Mankind is laying down on the ground on the outside. Now Val's getting another chair. I guess they're just making up the rules as they go along. The referee's not even... Oh, okay, fine. Referee actually grabbed the chair this time and told him not to use it. And now that gave Mankind enough time to recover. They're in the ring now. Mankind, Irish whip to Val. Oh, see, here's the thing. Side Russian leg sweep into the steel chair that was laying there. Now Val goes for the cover. 1, 2, and Mankind gets the shoulder up. No disqualifications. Elbow to the back of Mankind. Elbow to the back of Mankind's head. Another elbow to the back of Mankind's head. Oh, Mankind. He tried to go for the double arm DDT. Val was able to fight out of it. Now he has mounted Mankind and is punching Mankind repeatedly in the head. And now he's just grabbing his head and slamming it against the mat. Again, Mankind, his head is being targeted heavily here over the past minute or two by Val. Val goes for the cover. And Mankind gets the shoulder up. Oh, Val. Clothesline to the back of Mankind's head. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Mankind gets the shoulder up. Now, Val and Mankind are in a tough spot because they have to follow that epic ladder match. And then they have to follow, on top of that Rock and Triple H segment that just happened. So this is kind of like a bathroom break kind of a match. I mean, it's not a bad match. It's okay. But nothing they're doing is like groundbreaking. It's just like your average. It's like an average match. But again, if I remember correctly, it has a very funny ending. Val was going for his finishing move, which, by the way, is called the money shot. And, well, Mankind stopped him from doing it because he grabbed his foot. And so Val couldn't scale to the top rope. But either way, Val just hit a bulldog on Mankind. Now Val dropped an elbow onto the back of Mankind's head from the second rope, goes for the cover. Oh no, no cover here. Now Val is going for his finishing move, the money shot, which is a big splash off the top rope. Let's see if he hits it. And Mankind moves out of the way. And Val lands flat on the mat. Torso first. Now Mankind is back to his feet. And he's making his comeback now. Double arm DDT. And Mankind crawls over to the cover. 1, 2, and Val gets the shoulder up. Both of these guys are laying flat on the mat, so Teddy Long, the referee, is counting them both down. He's up to 5. Okay, now Mankind is back. Up, he's pointing to Mr. Sacco. This is the ending of this match. Mankind has Mr. Sacco, but Val, he's got Mr. Rocco. They both put it on their hands, and now they both lock in their submissions at the same time. So Mankind has Mr. Sacco in Val Venis's mouth, and Val has Mr. Rocco in a testicular claw. So Mankind has the mandible claw, Val has the testicular claw. Let's see which wins. It turns out the testicular claw wins. Val wins the match because Mankind fell over from the pain of getting his genitals smashed, and that's the ending of the match. This is why the Attitude Era was so great. I mean, you went from, okay, this is what we just watched in the past like 20 to 30 minutes, right? We saw an epic ladder match between the Hardys and Edge and Christian, which goes down as one of the greatest matches of all time. Then you see a great segment that wasn't announced between The Rock and Triple H. The Rock cuts a great promo, Triple H attacks him, shows his vicious side. Great, that advances the storyline between The Rock and Triple H. And then you just watch this ridiculous match where the ending is a guy grabbing the other guy's genitals. That's the ending of that match. And that's what the Attitude Era was all about. Just, it was really like watching a great variety show, almost like Saturday Night Live or something. It's just like you're getting so many different things, and they keep it going. Like, they don't spend too much time on any one thing. They keep the pace of the show going. WWE has a problem with that these days. Like, their segments go on too long. Like, and it's not like they're like unbelievably amazing, entertaining matches and segments. It's like they just let things go on too long on their shows and especially on their premium live events. That's when things drag on and on and on. I mean, it's one thing if you're having like an unbelievably amazing match. That's okay. I mean, if you're going to have like a 20-minute, 30-minute match between, two incredibly talented people and they're putting on an epic match, yeah, that obviously that's fine, but that's not really what they're doing these days. Like, they let matches go on for so long just to showcase the performers, and what they're capable of. But in the end, it's like, certain matches don't need to be 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long. Like tomorrow, they have a match for the women's tag titles. It's like a fatal 4-way or something with 4 different female teams. Like, that match should not go longer than 10 minutes, and really it should be less than that. Let's see. We'll find out tomorrow. I mean, their entrances alone are going to take like 10 minutes of the show. So, with the entrances, with like the video packages, they throw so many commercials on their premium live events now, which they never did back then. I remember watching the show live on pay-per-view, 1999, October, when I was a little kid. And it was a great show, and they didn't have any commercials. Like that I know WWF is making major money from all the sponsorships they get. I mean, if you watch WrestleMania like earlier this year, like this match was sponsored by one brand, another match was sponsored by a different brand. They got the Prime logo in the middle of the ring now. I mean, everything's about money, I guess. I mean, obviously everything's about money. But I think when it gets to the point where I'm noticing that you're just advertising so much all over the show, and like when it gets in the way, see, that's a problem. And they didn't do that at all during these pay-per-views. It would be like, oh, this sponsor brings you the event, but that would be it. You wouldn't have all these commercials and different advertisers on every match and things like that. geez, remember like Bray Wyatt, rest in peace. Bray Wyatt had a match against LA Knight, and it was sponsored by Mountain Dew, and they had this new drink coming out, and they had this match like with like all this glow in the dark stuff just to tie it in to this Mountain Dew product. I mean, see, that's not what should be going on. And that was a terrible match, by the way. And they did another thing with Damian Priest and The Miz having this like lumberjack match where the lumberjacks were zombies, and that was like a tie-in to some movie that was coming out. Like, what are you doing? It's like, are you people out of your minds? I mean, like, that would never fly during the Attitude Era. Like, the crowd would turn on the show so quickly. Like, they didn't tolerate that kind of stuff because the standards that they were used to in terms of entertainment value are so high during this era. And I'm not just talking about within the WWF at the time, because remember, they still had WCW around and ECW around at this time competing with them. But also, the entertainment that was on television at the time was some of the greatest TV shows of all time were taking place in the 90s. I mean, you had shows like Seinfeld and Family Matters, Boy Meets World, and like these were all these popular shows that young people watched, and they're competing with those other programs. And so they had to put on an excellent show to compete. The problem now is everybody knows the WWE, especially after their merger with the UFC, they're the biggest like sports entertainment juggernaut you can find. They don't really have any legitimate competition. I mean, they're not worried about AEW like they used to be, like when AEW first came out. Because when AEW first debuted, that was at a time when WWE was terrible, and so they were worried about AEW. And AEW was getting good ratings at the beginning. I mean, everything's changed now. Now WWE is on fire and AEW is like running on fumes. But, that's what happens when you don't have legitimate competition. The standards for entertainment are so low these days because you have so much entertainment. It's like entertainment overload. You have all these streaming services. By the way, the next match is a Four Corners match. I kind of got off topic here. The next match is a Four Corners match. X-Pac, Faaroq, Bradshaw, Kane. Like, these two tag teams have been in a feud with each other, X-Pac and Kane and the Acolytes. But now X-Pac wants to prove that he belongs in the land of the giants. Kane was always protecting X-Pac from the Acolytes and saving him, and X-Pac got tired of it because he doesn't want to be the weak link on the team. So he's going to be competing in this match by himself. It's every man for himself. X-Pac versus Kane versus Faaroq versus Bradshaw to show, who's the toughest guy among these four. And X-Pac wants to prove that it's him. That's what's going on in this match. But yeah, the standards of entertainment are so low these days because you have all these streaming services that have millions of shows and millions of movies. And it's like you have TV, which is like the actual stuff that goes on cable TV. You're not getting the type of viewership that TV shows were getting back in the 90s when there were no streaming services. So, at this time, you could expect Monday Night Raw to get like 8, 9, 10 million viewers, whatever. And nowadays, what do you get for like SmackDown or Raw? Like 2 million, maybe a little more. That's about it. And WWE knows that. They know the standards are low. And AEW knows that too. It's like they don't really have to put their best effort forward. I mean, right now, what they're doing is a lot of long-term storytelling in the WWE, but they're not putting enough effort into making each show extremely entertaining and extremely fast-paced and making sure that they they call it retention, viewer retention, right? So they don't even care. It's like they know they could just throw anything out there and wrestling fans will eat it up because what else is there, right? It's like there's nothing really that's that amazing that's on TV these days. The match has started. X-Pac and Kane are in the ring. Remember, they're a tag team. They're friends. But X-Pac wants to prove to Kane that he can hang with him. X-Pac is telling Kane he doesn't want Kane to hold back. X-Pac is punching Kane. And he kicked him in the corner. Oh, wow. And Kane just took X-Pac's head off with a huge clothesline. And the other thing is, like, every match during the Attitude Era, especially on pay-per-views, there used to be, like, they used to try to make it mean something. You know, like, even in this match I'm watching right now, the point of this match is for X-Pac to establish that he deserves to hang with people like Bradshaw, Faaroq, and Kane in the ring. I mean, that's the point of this match. Is like, can X-Pac actually prove to these other guys that he belongs there by winning the match? I mean, there are stakes here. You know, it makes you care about the match. Whereas, I'll give you an example about a match that's happening tomorrow on WWE's premium live event, Crown Jewel. They have Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for a Crown Jewel championship. Am I supposed to care about that match? Because there's really no stakes involved. It doesn't matter if Cody loses or Gunther loses. It's like, they still will be world champion on their brand, and whatever if they lose. You know, it's like, it's a meaningless, like, the match is meaningless. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and then you also have Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax, another meaningless match. It's just there for a Crown Jewel championship that doesn't mean anything. Maybe Tiffany Stratton will cash in her Money in the Bank. Probably not. She's probably going to accidentally cost Nia Jax the match. But anyway, I mentioned that in my predictions video. But my point is, you got to keep the stakes high, and that's what WWF put a lot of effort into their matches and feuds at this time. Even other matches I've seen on the show, the Chyna Jeff Jarrett match. What was on the line there? It was man versus woman. It's like, it was like, who's the superior gender? But also, are we going to see the very first female Intercontinental Champion? There was a lot on the line in that match. How about Matt and Jeff Hardy versus Edge and Christian? There's a lot on the line in that match. It's for, well, not only bragging rights in terms of winning the best of 7 series that led to the ladder match, but also $100,000 in cash is hanging above the ring. They get to have Terry Runnels as their manager. There was a lot on the line in that match. Makes you care about the match. And then also the guys during the match, they really made you care about the match by turning it into one of the greatest matches of all time. That's what I'm talking about, you know? Oh, X-Pac. This is an elimination match, by the way. So there needs to be 3 eliminations here, and whoever is the last man standing is the winner. So nobody's been eliminated yet. X-Pac is in the ring with Faaroq. Faaroq going for a pin on X-Pac. X-Pac gets the shoulder up. Oh, another chin lock. That's probably like, what, the 5th chin lock we've seen on the show? Faaroq with a chin lock on X-Pac. Nope. Power slam by Faaroq on X-Pac. 1, 2. X-Pac kicks out. Now Bradshaw has tagged in. Bradshaw versus X-Pac here. Bradshaw has a bear hug on X-Pac. Bear hug still locked in. See, again, they really loved rest holds on pay-per-views. I don't know why. Like, there should be some rule, like, you're not allowed to do this during pay-per-views. Oh, big boot to X-Pac by Bradshaw. Bradshaw drops an elbow, goes for the cover, and X-Pac kicks out. And again, this match, is it going to be like a 5-star match, this match I'm watching? No, it's not. But people care about the match because they are invested in the characters that are here, and they also care about X-Pac, and they want to see X-Pac win so he can prove to all these guys and everybody else that, hey, he's just as good as they are. Just because he's smaller and skinnier than they are, he can still hang in there with them. That's the point. That's the point of this match. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a 5-star match as long as people care about what's going on in the match. Whereas if you look at WWE Premium Live events today, it almost seems like every match, they're trying to have a 5-star match. But like a lot of the matches, people don't really care that much about them. You know, unless it's like the main event or whatever. But it's like, yeah, I mean, Cody Rhodes and Gunther have a match tomorrow. I mean, that should be a fun match. It might be a good match, but like, am I heavily invested in who's going to win that match? No, I'm not. Do I really care who's going to win that match? No. I care more about seeing X-Pac win this match. I want to see if X-Pac's going to beat these 3 guys. Because they made me care about that, you know? You got to get the crowd emotionally invested in the characters and the storylines. It's real simple. I mean, it's not easy to do that, but that's the basic premise behind pro wrestling. That's why people care about the matches. It's because they're invested in the characters and the stories. But if they're not invested in the characters and the stories, then what's the point of the match? And that's something that's gotten lost in translation over the years, because now people want to have these great matches, but what good is it? You're like putting your body on the line, doing all this high risk stuff, and nobody cares. You know, I just remember, what's his name? Dante Martin or something. I just remember like there was a big Ring of Honor show, and it's like this ladder match or something, and they have this really complicated spot set up where he ends up like, I don't know if he broke his leg or broke his ankle, his like ankle twisted, his foot twisted the other way or something. And the match wasn't, nobody cares. You know, it's like, you're doing all this crazy stuff, nobody cares. You know, why? Why are you putting your future on the line for no reason? It's like, I can understand if it was like you're in the main event of an AEW pay-per-view or something. It's like, okay, fine, maybe you should do something high risk. And, you know, that wouldn't make sense. Dude, but you're on a Ring of Honor show that nobody's even watching. Come on, bro. It's like, you don't put your entire life on the line there. Anyway, Bradshaw has been eliminated by Kane, by the way. Now, Faaroq and X-Pac are in the ring. Faaroq just gave a spine buster to X-Pac. Oh, wait. X-Pac just fell to the middle of the ring. Faaroq. Oh, X-Pac just hit an X Factor on Faaroq. Goes for the 1, 2, 3. X-Pac has won the match. Kane also got eliminated very quickly. Again, very average match, nothing special. But X-Pac wins, and that was the whole point. Could X-Pac beat these 3 other guys? That was the question. So you're paying attention the whole match to see what happens. And X-Pac wins. I wouldn't say the match is worth watching, though. Again, the only matches on the show that have been worth watching so far are the Jeff Jarrett Chyna match, and obviously the tag team ladder match between Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys. Those are definitely must-see matches if you haven't seen them before. Everything else has been pretty average. Nothing has been terrible, though. See, that's another thing. You know, you will see absolutely terrible matches on premium live events that WWE does these days. they pretend like it's a great match, but it's like, because they make it last a really long time, I think they've gotten confused. They think like if a match lasts longer than 10 minutes, it's like automatically really good or something. And the fans will just go along with it. They'll just start chanting, "This is awesome," for a match that is definitely not awesome. And I hate to be so negative towards the WWE today. I know they're doing great business. It's just like, I know they could be doing so much better. But you know what? Maybe they will in the future. The Raw is moving to Netflix. Maybe there will be changes when that happens. I just wish they would do more unpredictable stuff. I mean, that's the big one. Like, I shouldn't go into a show pretty much knowing exactly every single thing that's about to happen. You know, it's like I shouldn't be able to predict everything correctly. Like, you gotta like throw me off somewhere. You gotta have plot twists to keep wrestling interesting. And by the way, believe it or not, we're already at the main event of this show. I mean, this show, you know, the thing about these Attitude Era shows, the pacing is so good that you don't even realize you've just watched, you know, I'm more than 2 hours into the show. You don't even realize it. The time moves by so quickly. Again, contrast that against today's premium live events where I'm like, wow, this is dragging on way too long. There's too many commercials. What time is it? It's like, that's the difference. I mean, that's the big difference between this time period and today. Right now, they're showing a video package that's showing the lead up to the main event, which is Stone Cold Steve Austin challenging the WWF champion Triple H. Obviously, WWF Championship on the line. And on Sunday Night Heat, Vince McMahon made this match a no-holds-barred match. So anything goes. Now, in theory, that would favor Steve Austin, because Steve Austin's the guy who will wrestle all over the arena. He's always brawling. He's a rule breaker. But we'll see who comes out on top in this one. Now, keep in mind, one thing that happened earlier in the night is that Triple H Rock segment where The Rock came out to cut a promo to challenge the winner of this main event. And as he was going to the back, Triple H attacked him with a sledgehammer. So will that play a role in this final match? That segment. That's the thing to keep in mind. They're showing Unforgiven from the previous month, which is where Triple H won the WWF title, I believe for the second time. It was vacant at the time. Because Triple H, Mankind won the WWF title at SummerSlam 1999. The very next night, he puts the title on the line in a match with Triple H. Triple H wins the WWF title for the first time. Then, a few weeks later, Triple H and Vince McMahon are embroiled in some feud. And Vince and Triple H have a match where Vince somehow, some way manages to pin Triple H and win the WWF title. So when that happened, Vince vacated the title. And to crown a new WWF champion, they picked 6 guys, put them in the main event of the previous pay-per-view, Unforgiven 1999. And in that match, it was Bulldog, British Bulldog, The Rock, Mankind, Big Show, Kane, and Triple H, 6 guys. And Steve Austin was a special guest enforcer because the referees were on strike. I guess because they were getting attacked by wrestlers too much. See, these were the kind of funny stories that they had in the WWF back then. And they had stories that made sense. Not all of them made sense. Some of them were just completely ridiculous. But hey, the referee's going on strike because they keep getting attacked by wrestlers. That's exactly what referees should do if they're getting attacked by wrestlers. But anyway, Austin had to count the 1, 2, 3 in that match for Triple H to become the WWF champion. And now here they have their match, one-on-one. Austin, Triple H. No holds barred. And the Austin Triple H feud carries on for several years. I remember watching the show and thinking Steve Austin was totally going to win this match. I mean, I was a little kid at the time, but that's what I believed the first time I saw this show. Here comes Austin. Yeah, no holds barred, no disqualifications, falls count anywhere, anything goes, interference is okay. Now, this was at a time where Triple H and Chyna, they were on the same side, but it's weird because Chyna was off on her own storyline with the whole Intercontinental title chase that she's, pretty much not been available to Triple H that much, because she's been doing her own thing for the past 2 months. But she has been part of this storyline, though, with Austin and Triple H, Chyna, because she has helped Triple H do dastardly things to Steve Austin. Or she's acted as like an accomplice. Even though in her Intercontinental title feud, she's the babyface. But she acts as a heel in this storyline. It's interesting stuff. I mean, you don't really see that kind of layered stuff going on in today's WWE, where it's like a person is a babyface in one feud and a heel in another. Here comes Triple H. And he's not being accompanied by Chyna. Because remember, Chyna had her own match earlier in the night where she won the Intercontinental title. But I will tell you, he is coming out here with a sledgehammer in his hand. He's not playing any games. Oh, okay. Vince McMahon is walking behind Triple H and takes the sledgehammer away from him. And now Triple H just punched Vince McMahon in the face. And now Vince is on the floor. Austin he just ran up the entryway and clotheslined Triple H right near the entrance where the wrestlers come out. So that's where this match is starting. Now, most of Stone Cold Steve Austin's matches wind up in this area during 1999. In this area near the stage, near where the entry way is for the wrestlers. And he's, just brawling with Triple H. Where a lot of the cameramen are stationed. Now they're back on the entryway, trading punches, just brawling. Oh, Austin is climbing on this like barricade and he clotheslines Triple H. He flies off and clotheslines him. It looks like a hardwood floor there. It looks like a basketball floor. They're at the Gund Arena, by the way. Austin just hit him in the head with a trash can. Yeah, this is at the Gund Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. They're still at the entryway. Austin just Irish whipped Triple H to do a steel guardrail. Now he's picking up the steel guardrail. And knocks down Triple H with it. Austin just threw Triple H into another steel guardrail. No, now they're fighting right in a sea of fans. They're you can't even see them. So many of Austin's matches during this year are exactly like this. Just they brawl near the entryway, they brawl in the sea of fans, they brawl near the announce tables. They might throw in a little bit of wrestling here and there too. I don't know. Let's see how long it takes them to actually get inside the ring. Okay. Wow. Okay. So there's a guy with crutches, and Austin just took one of the guy's crutches and is hitting Triple H with it, and the crowd's going nuts around them. I mean, the crowd loves it because you have to remember, everybody hated Triple H at this time. They want to see him get brutalized. And like considering all the heinous things that he did to Austin and Mankind, and he broke Jim Ross's arm on one episode of Monday Night Raw, the way he treated Chyna earlier in the year. I mean, it's like everybody wants to see this guy get what's coming to him. And honestly, I don't think Triple H ever really gets what's coming to him until like it was probably his feud with The Rock in 2000. Then he sort of gets his comeuppance because his affiliation with the McMahons starts to backfire. But it takes a long time for him to get punished for all of his misdeeds. And he just tortures everybody week after week for months and months and months. By the way, they're still fighting in the entryway, still brawling. Triple H is going for a vertical suplex here. No, that didn't work. Austin reversed it and hits a suplex of his own. You know, one thing that Cody Rhodes, who is the current WWE champion, he always insults the Attitude Era. I mean, these days he's a lot more, I guess, politically correct when he talks about this stuff, but like he takes shots at the Attitude Era every chance he gets, which I don't know. It's because the wrestling industry has been living in the shadow of the Attitude Era for it's like 25 years now, basically. And it's because the entertainment value of the product has never reached that level ever again. But Cody Rhodes wants to make people think that it has. And it really hasn't. And you can just watch this show to find out why. Or watch any Raw or SmackDown from the year 2000 and you will find out why. It was so much better. So sorry, Cody. You are incorrect. Today's WWE is not on the level of what it was back in 1999 and 2000. He has for years and years he's been taking shots at the Attitude Era. I don't know, it just makes him seem insecure to me. Because he really wants to like this era to be like the best era ever, and it's not. I mean, maybe financially it is on par with the Attitude Era or better because of inflation, but still, I mean that doesn't mean the quality is where it was. They're still fighting in the crowd, still brawling. Now Austin is about to slingshot Triple H right into the referee over the barricade. Okay, so now they're back in the ringside area, inside the barricade, right near the ring. And the referee has been taken out. So we'll see what happens. I guess it doesn't really matter because they're just going to be beating the heck out of each other in some kind of wild brawl here. And there's no rules, really. Triple H just threw Austin face first into the English announce table. Now Austin has been rolled into the ring. So this is okay, now Triple H is in the ring. This is the first time in the match now that both guys are in the ring. But there's no referee. So Triple H is stomping Austin here, choking Austin. Remember, no rules. Triple H is picking up Austin. Oh, Austin, Stone Cold Stunner. That was actually perfect placement and perfect timing to do that, because the match was starting to slow down and the crowd was starting to get a little bit bored, and then they just hit that. And he went for the cover. He had the 3 count, but there's no referee because the referee was accidentally taken out. The referee is Mike Chioda, by the way, and Austin is dragging him back in the ring, trying to wake him up, trying to tell him, like, oh, wait, but Triple H is putting a stop to it. Now Austin fighting back. Watch, the referee's going to get taken out. Oh, wow. Austin went for the stunner again. Triple H pushed him off right into Mike Chioda, the referee, Mike Chioda flew off the ring apron, hit the barricade. Now he's out again. Triple H, meanwhile, just hit the pedigree, going for the cover. 1, 2, 3. He's got the pin. He's got the win. Oh, now here's Earl Hebner. 1, 2. And Austin gets the shoulder up. And the crowd's going nuts. This match has been pretty much all fireworks so far. Just a big brawl in the crowd, and then as soon as they get in the ring, a stunner, and then a pedigree. And now Triple H is mad at Earl Hebner for being late to count the pinfall. He just pushed Earl Hebner. Earl Hebner pushed him back. Again, and again, they're pushing each other back and forth. This feud between Triple H and Earl Hebner is ongoing and continues into the following year. Triple H and Austin trading punches. See, this is like, it's exciting now. It's like you don't know what's going to happen here. Luthez press by Austin. They're really good at keeping this match exciting. They're doing all big stuff. Austin drops an elbow, goes for the cover. 1, 2. Triple H gets the shoulder up. Jim Ross is like screaming at the top of his lungs. Because, yeah, they're keeping this crowd on the edge of their seat here. Austin throws Triple H over the top rope. Again, that's something they were very good at in these days, keeping the crowd on the edge of their seat, which is something that the WWE is not good at doing right now. Because honestly, this match, at this time, going into it, nobody had any idea who was going to win. They honestly had no idea. Because this Austin Triple H feud had been going on for months now, and this was like the big opportunity for Austin to get the title back, this one-on-one match. Nobody knew who was going to win this match. So that everybody literally is, on the edge of their seat. These days, how many matches, WWE Championship matches, has Cody Rhodes had this year where you knew he was going to win long before the match ever took place? I mean, see, that's a problem. I mean, you need to have title matches that are unpredictable. You need to have challengers that everyone actually thinks can win. And that is what WWE is not so good at doing these days, because they have people like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns positioned so far above everyone else that whoever are the contenders to the title, they don't seem legitimate. I mean, think about Roman Reigns' 4-year title reign. I mean, they would throw LA Knight at him. We know LA Knight's not going to beat Roman Reigns. They would throw Sami Zayn at him. We know Sami. Well, on one night we thought maybe Sami Zayn had a chance of winning in Montreal, but all the other contenders, Matt Riddle's not going to end Roman Reigns' 3-year title reign. I mean, you see what I'm saying here? It's like back then in the Attitude Era, whenever they had a WWF title match, you never knew who was going to win. It's like, I'll just give you an example from the past couple of pay-per-views. Fully Loaded 1999. Undertaker Austin, first blood match for the WWF title. Nobody knew who was going to win that. I mean, not really. It's like it really could have been anybody at that point. And Then SummerSlam 99. Mankind, Triple H, Austin. Nobody knew who was going to win. Actually, most people thought Triple H was going to win, and he didn't. Then Unforgiven 99. Six-Pack Challenge. Rock. Mankind. Triple H. Big Show. Kane. British Bulldog. Nobody knew who was going to win that. And now here you go. Austin, Triple H. Who knew? You know, it's like, that's not what WWE's events are like these days. Almost every event, you know who's going to win. If there's a WWE title match and Cody Rhodes is champion, you know who's going to win. Come on. He has no real contenders. I mean, the only people who are going to take that title off of Cody are The Rock, Roman Reigns, maybe Jacob Fatu, maybe. But really, I don't think it's going to be anybody outside those three people. I'm kind of hoping for Kevin Owens or Randy Orton, but that might be wishful thinking. Oh, by the way, Triple H just hit Austin in the head with a ring bell. They're on the outside again. But again, it can't be Randy Orton. You know why? Taking Cody Rhodes' title away? Think about how many times Randy Orton has lost this year already to other people. Now he's not viewed as a legitimate threat. I mean, he's involved in like the main event storylines and stuff, and Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes will definitely have a WWE title match at some point, but he's not winning. He's not winning. I mean, he lost to Gunther recently. Multiple times. More than once. So, it's like, now you're going to have the guy who lost to Gunther multiple times, you're going to have him beat Cody? No. Kevin Owens, he's been getting beat by every major star for years now. I mean, it would be a great move to make him champion, but I don't think they're going to do that. When Cody Rhodes loses that title, that has to be to a major name. Like a big star. Like The Rock or Roman. Maybe Jacob Fatu at some point in the future, because Jacob Fatu is on fire right now. Triple H and Austin are back in the ring now. Again, this whole thing has just been one gigantic brawl. But they've kept the crowd interested because people really don't know who's going to win. And the referees have taken bumps. Triple H is angered Earl Hebner here. So there's a lot of little variables at play here. We don't know how this is going to play out. And remember that attack on The Rock from earlier in the night. There's too many things going on at once. Triple H is busted open, by the way. He's bleeding from the head. He just landed an elbow on Austin. And he drops an... Oh, he tried to drop a knee on Austin. Austin moved. Oh, Triple H kick to Austin's face. Chop block on Austin's knees, which, by the way, Austin's knees, not only are they surgically repaired, Triple H attacked his knees at SummerSlam at the very end of that show and took him out of action for all this time. You know, this is Austin's big return. Now he's wrapping Triple H is wrapping Austin's knee around the ring post. Now he's targeting those knees. Once again targeting the knee, wrapped it around the ring post. Crowd is chanting for Austin. Triple H is still targeting that left leg and that left knee. There's only a few minutes left in this match. He's targeting that knee again. Oh, finally, Austin kicked Triple H off. Oh, but Triple H kicked him in the knee and he fell down. Still he dropped an elbow on that knee. Now he's like twisting Austin's leg. It's like a submission hold here. The crowd is trying to will Steve Austin back into the match. And by the way, a lot of these fans are standing on their feet. They are very, very interested to see who's going to win this match. I mean, the Austin Triple H feud, you know, people cared about it because Triple H is the worst. I mean, like he was portrayed as like the worst human being in the wrestling business at this time. Just such a rotten person, such a selfish person who only cares about the title. Okay, Triple H hit a knee to Austin's head, goes for the cover. Austin kicks out. Triple H goes for the cover again. Austin kicks out. Another cover by Triple H. Another cover. I like that. You know, you don't see that a lot. You know, that's great for a heel to do. Just it makes the babyface look so much better when you go for multiple pinfalls like that, like what Triple H just did. Because he's desperately trying to just end this match. He doesn't want to keep going through this with Austin. This brutal brawl. Remember, Triple H is already bleeding from the head right now. Triple H has a steel chair. Oh, before he could use it, Austin kicked him and he dropped the chair. Now Austin, now keep in mind, Triple H attacked Austin's knees with a steel chair at the end of SummerSlam 99. So the crowd was cheering when Austin had the chair in his hand because it's time for revenge. But unfortunately, Triple H just fought back and Austin is flat on his back. And Triple H climbing to the top turnbuckle here, it looks like. But Austin, back on his feet. Oh, knocks down Triple H. Triple H lands crotch first on the top turnbuckle. And Austin is landing punches and chops to Triple H. Austin now. Superplex to Triple H. Austin got the superplex to Triple H. And he's crawling to the cover. 1, 2. Triple H gets the shoulder up. The match is slowing down a little bit over the past couple minutes. Oh, but now, okay, so now, yeah, now they're going to do something. Austin, steel chair to the head of Triple H. Now, Austin has the steel chair. It's time for revenge. All right. Austin is going after Triple H's knees, just like Triple H went after Austin's knees at SummerSlam 99, and the crowd is going bananas. See, again, perfect timing. Once again, just as the match was starting to slow down, they do this. So now the crowd is super jolted by that. Everyone's into this now because Austin's in control. He just got his revenge, but now Triple H just low-blowed Austin, and Austin's back flat on the mat. But here we go. Look who's coming down the entryway. The crowd's going crazy. The Rock, with taped-up ribs, has a sledgehammer in his hand. See? Something that happened earlier in the night now is going to have an effect in this match. Oh, The Rock went to hit Triple H with the sledgehammer, and Triple H ducked, and Rock hit Austin with the sledgehammer in the midsection. Then Triple H just hit a pedigree on The Rock. Triple H is going for the pinfall. 1, 2, 3 on Austin. And that is how you end a show. Triple H just pinned Stone Cold Steve Austin to retain the WWF Championship with some accidental help by The Rock. Great show. Very entertaining from top to bottom. Nothing terrible on the show. The best matches, obviously, number 1 best match was the ladder match between the Hardys and Edge and Christian. Number 2, Jeff Jarrett versus Chyna for the Intercontinental title. Number 3, the main event here. The rest of the matches were fine for what they were. They were average. Luckily, none of them went that long. They were pretty short matches. And the 3 great matches, you know, they made the show worth watching. And that was a heck of an ending that I bet nobody predicted at the beginning of the night. The Rock accidentally costing Austin the match. And obviously this leads to a feud between all 3 of these guys. And now, check this out. The match is over, but Austin just ran after Triple H on the entryway. He's not done with him. Austin attacking Triple H. They're going backstage now. Show's not over. Okay, now they're in the backstage area. Austin is beating the heck out of Triple H. Obviously, he's not happy with the way that match ended. Now he's just taking it out on Triple H. And it's good to do this because it lets the fans know that this feud is not over. You know, this was just one match. This feud is not over between these 2 guys. Now they're in the parking lot area, and here's Chyna. Chyna, who was holding the limo door open so that Triple H could jump in, and they just sped off in that limousine. And Austin is just laying on the floor of the parking lot, looking after the car, furious and enraged. And that's the end of the show. That was WWF No Mercy 1999, and thank you for watching.